Greetings to you, Wilson Central Chamber Choir and Director and accompanist. Glad to be with you, even if it's just in this virtual clinic. I'm Tim Banks. I'm a retired professor from Samford University in Birmingham. This is actually my fourth time around in adjudicating, having the honor to judge the choral festival across the state of Tennessee. But of course, it's the first one where we've been doing it virtually, and me here in my study. So first up, lovely sound. Glad you did both pieces. Both pieces, good choices. Overall, it's a nice choral sound, and I'm amazed that you and so many of your fellow choral singers around the state are able to make such wonderful sounds even with masks on. And so bravo to that. Bravo to keeping going and to learning the music and to doing well. Let me take just a few minutes to address some issues in each of the pieces. First of all is the Bruckner piece, Locus Iste. The good tone, nice, pretty well balanced, but I do think the tenors are a little much. I don't know if maybe there was a miking issue or not, but maybe the tenors might need to back away just a little bit. Intonation in that piece is generally good, but I noted in my written notes that it's a chromatic piece in places, very treacherous to tune. Measures 40 to 42, have some work to do there. If I were present with you physically, we probably would sing that segment and make sure that we did it. I don't like to think of all of these pieces as chordal, but this one chord by chord or beat by beat, as far as tuning is concerned. Slow it down or just isolate every single beat's worth of pitch. As far as the diction is concerned, very good overall, but I did hear some of that diphthong stuff creeping into da-o. I'm hearing a little bit of da-o, that little Y sound. Ooh, no, that's a naughty. In liturgical Latin. In Latin in general, liturgical Latin in particular, there are no diphthongs at all except where created by two adjacent vowels. I'm trying to find one in your text. And E does not count because that one in classical Latin would be I, but in liturgical Latin, AE is E. So inestimabile, right? So I don't really think you have any that I remember in this particular text. No. All right. So keep those vowels open. The other part about having, and it's related somewhat to diction, but more to the text itself and phrasing. A piece like this can become very pedantic, very pedestrian. Locus iste, boom, boom, adeo, no. Adeo factus est. Word stress is everything in choral music, no matter what style period, whether it's homophonic or whether it's polyphonic, lots of melodic material going on, overlapping at the same time. In this case, it's got to be adeo factus est. Back off of est. Est is not the most important word. Factus est. This is a liturgical text. The translation is fair, but basically you are worshiping the deity. So and words that we know like inestimabile, and inestimable, um, sacrament. This has to do with the Eucharist. Um, Not to get too religious about it, but a lot of that is tied in. A lot of the reason for its even being written was for a specific liturgical purpose. In this case, it was for probably for the Eucharist. I don't know if that's listed. Oh, okay. It says the common of the dedication of a church. Well, uh, I agree with that. I'm sure that's correct. But it also, I write a lot of music now for the Catholic Network that's based in the eastern part of Birmingham. And so I have to be very careful that I stress the right words in the text, depending on what it is for. Well, okay, so not to get too far onto that. And then let's see. Yeah, I just said under musical effect, a more fluid approach to the phrases in locus iste. It can be very pedestrian if you allow it to be. And I mentioned things like the dynamic contrast. If you look on page 7, certainly at bars 36, you've got forte and then suddenly piano. It's hard for the sopranos to support. Oh no! Wow, you have to work on that one. Have to work very hard, not to sound kind of puny. And then it's soft, and then that crescendo that is marked in bar 40 to 41. Oh boy, that could hardly be more important. Ooh, sopranos. It's not in a good range for you to crescendo, but you got to try. You got to try something anyway, and everybody else needs to do so as well. Tenors, be careful though, because you're right smack in the middle of your honking range, what I call your honking range, and you could be too much. So be careful. Moving on to the next piece, or to the second piece rather. Let me pull that up here on my screen so that I'm following the score again a little bit to be more helpful. Boy, what a surprise at the beginning! Wow, I really did not expect that tenor solo to be a bass down here. I'm assuming, I hope I'm assuming that that was a conscious choice rather than a misreading of the octave marking. It's the solo. It's really listed as a tenor or a soprano solo. So anyway, and I'm much more used to hearing by yon bonny banks and by yon bonny banks and by yon bonny brae. Sorry, sang a wrong notes or two there. The oohs are nice. I would round out that ooh as much as possible. Ooh, I like to have the concept of an ooh as really an O with my lips pulled around it. Ooh. Oh. If you sang that phrase just a couple of bars as O, and then about halfway through it closed your lips around to ooh and stopped, ooh, you want to have a lot of oral space, a lot of kind of a high, soft palate, and keep your tongue down, relaxed. It's all good. We have some difficulties with notes, with tuning and notes in the TTB and B section. It's listed as TTB, but it actually has division there. And I suggest, maybe this seems wrong, but if it were me, from a practical standpoint, I'd be putting some altos on that top tenor line and maybe shifting a voice or two downward so that the basses have, or the baritone rather, is more solid, because I really wasn't able to understand the baritone part very much. And in fact, the whole thing was just a wee bit wonky there, so you got to watch that. After that, starting with the ladies part and on through the end, really great stuff. It's a great arrangement, and you have a nicely balanced ladies part there. That's good. When you get to the die, 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 don't punch it so hard. I know you get excited about that. Die, die, that's cool. Die, 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 die. Yeah, watch it. We will lose the melody if you give us so much, that we don't understand it. I'm talking obviously about the faster portion over on page, well, I'm not looking at page numbers, am I? Measure 42, 43, 44. Measure 44. Where it is marked faster. Die, 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 die. Subtle. Die, 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 die. It's not so much that the guys were punching it, but the ladies, altos, watch out. You're there, you are in your honking range. So be careful. And we must hear, you'll take the high road and I'll take the low road, and so forth. I'm not singing the best of the right notes there, but you were. It's just, it was out of balance. So be careful. Let's see if I've got anything more that I should point out. I just mostly was concerned about that balance thing that in this piece, and the issues with the fellas in that early part of the piece. Otherwise, nicely done, good sounding group, and I'll say once again, thank you for keeping going during this very difficult pandemic time. It is none of us have wanted to sing with masks. I'm having to do it also at I mentioned I write for the Catholic Network, but I also sing for them. And we've been masked right up until the last couple of days, with all of us on the staff there. We're all properly vaccinated, and so we feel a little more comfortable, spaced out, and maybe losing the masks. Eventually you will too. You'll get to do that. You'll be standing there on those risers in that thing with not an empty hall in front of you. It'll be great, and it'll be because you kept going and you kept yourself alive. I'm sorry for the seniors always this year, especially, but here's my suggestion to the seniors. Churchill, never give up. Don't stop singing. Whether you go to college or junior college or whatever, find a choir to sing in. Find a church choir to sing in. Find a community choir to sing in. You should not retire as a singer. You need to keep going. So please keep that going. And those of you who are sticking around that high school at Wilson Central next year, it's going to be better. It's got to be better. Thank you again for letting me kind of work with you in a way. I will look forward. I may or may not have said it early, this is my 4th time to do this in the state of Tennessee. First time to do it virtually, and I'm hoping in about 3 more years, I'm usually in about a 3-year cycle, 2 to 3 more years, maybe I'll get to actually hear you again in person. That will be lovely. Thanks for doing it. Thanks for letting me share with you. God bless.